what? Module 2. I want to use this function 1, function 2, and function 3 of module 1 into module 2. So how can I use the function 1, function 2, function 3 of module 1 into module 2? For that, so this is module 2. Okay. So how can I use the content of module 1, module 2 into module 2? By using one statement called what here? Import. You are using which statement? Import statement. Okay. What statement you are using? Import statement. You are using it. So import statement. So import is a keyword. Import is a keyword. So this keyword is used to import one module, inside another module. So importing is not including. Importing is not including. So including of module content is done. Including of module content is done. How? Dynamically. Importing is not including. Including of module content is done dynamically, right? So importing is not including everything. Suppose if module is having 10,000 functions, it will not include 10,000 functions. No. Okay. But importing is verifying. Is it this module is exists? Is it this function is exists? But loading or linking of those functions are done at what? Runtime. Okay. Suppose if it is loading everything in compile time, then it occupies a lot of space. So that might decrease the efficiency of the program. Okay. So that's the reason importing is not including. Okay. Including of module content is done what? Dynamically. That is during runtime. So Python uses what here? Dynamic linking of modules or content. Modules or what is that? Content. Okay, dynamic. So Python uses dynamic linking of modules or what? Content. It's not uses like C language, it uses static linking. But Python uses what here? Dynamic linking of modules. Okay, dynamic linking of modules. Okay, now what is the syntax? So there are multiple now you have a multiple syntaxes. Now there is a syntax 1. Okay, there is a syntax 1 here. Okay, there is a syntax 1. If you see the syntax 1, how it is. If you see the syntax 1, how it is. Okay. Okay, so import module name. Import and what is that? Module name. So there is a syntax 2, which is import module name as what here? Alias name. There is a syntax 3. So where you are writing from module name, import star. So there is a syntax 4 from module name, import the list of identifiers. Import the list of identifiers like this. there is a syntax 5. So from module name, import identifier as what name here? Alias name. Okay, so total, how many syntaxes are there? 5. Okay, syntax 1. So syntax 2. So there is a syntax 3. Okay, syntax 4 and syntax 5. Okay, so let us see the syntax 1. Import module name. Syntax 1 is import module name. So this allows to use the entire module. So this allows to use entire module content inside current module. Inside which one? Current module. It import module content with the module name. Okay, it import module content with what name here? Module name. Okay, import module content with what name? Module name. It's nothing but import statement. Yeah, you can say it is like this. This allows to use the entire module content. This allows to use the entire module content inside current module. It import module content with what name? Module name. It import module content. It import module content with what name here? Module name. So this allows use the entire module content inside current module. It import module content with what name? Module name. So it import it with what name here? Module name. So what is the meaning of this is, now I have two modules. This is module 1 and this is module 2. So I want to use the function 1, function 2 and function 3. So I'll say import module 1. So I'm importing this module 1. Importing means not including. Okay, so what Python will do is, it will verify is it this module is exist or not. It will verify this module is exist or not. If it is exist, it will create. If it is exist, it will create a namespace. Means how you can access these functions in this module with what name? Module name. How you can access the content of these functions in this module with what name? Module name. Okay. So how you can access it? For example, now this is a function main. How you are accessing it? By saying module 1 dot function 1. So it will create a namespace with what name? Module name. So whenever you want to access the functions of this particular module, you are accessing with what name? Module name. So by default, this is called module name, or it is called as namespace name. So I can change this name. So it means it will create this namespace. Okay, namespace is nothing but the space where these functions get loaded. It's nothing but a context. It is nothing but what? Context. So for this module, there is a memory allocated in the module 2 with what name? Module name. Okay, so I said module 1 dot function 1. Then what will happen? This function 1 is loaded. This function 1 is loaded and executed. But where it is loaded in? It is loaded in one memory. Memory whose name is what? It will load it in memory whose name is what? Module 1. Like you'll say no variable name. So generally variable hold what? Value. Variable is a named memory location. So which is used to identify what? Which is used to identify what? Objects or values. In the same way, your functions are loaded. Okay, functions will be loaded in memory. when runtime. But where it is loaded, there should be some namespace. There should be some namespace. So by default, it will create a namespace with what name? Module name. By default, it will create a namespace with what name? Module name. So there will be a namespace called module one, and inside that it will load the function one and call it. So loading function one is done at what? Runtime. But it will not import all the functions. No, it will not import all the functions. It will not include all the functions. Okay, when I call it, then only it will load it. Otherwise, it will not load it, right? So module one dot function one, I'll say module one dot function two, I'll say module one dot function three. So I try to call all the functions, right? So module two, then once I run this module, I can see inside function one, inside function two, and inside function three. So because how many functions are there in this? Three functions. So this is one syntax. Now this is not only for suppose x equal to 100, y equal to what here? 200. These are called which variables? These are called which variables? Global variables. These are called which variables? Global variables. And where the memory for this x and y is allocated? Within what namespace? Module 1. So if you want to access x and y, if I am writing x, so first priority is given to which one? Local. So it will look for x variable inside function main. Is it variable x is there in function main? No. The next priority is given to the global. Is it variable x is there in the global? No. Next priority is given to which one? Module. Is it x is there in module 1? But are you accessed? So when you are saying module, you have to access with what name? Module name. But by default, it will search this in which module? Built-ins module. If it is other modules, I have to access with what name? Module name. As it is a module 1.x and module 1 dot what? Y. So you can use variables. Yeah, module 1 dot x. It's not saved. You can see module 1 dot x is 100 and this is what here? 200. We added, but we have not saved. So until you don't save it, the changes are applied or not applied? Not applied. Okay, so you have to save it. What you have to do? You have to save it, right? So this is import module name. This is import module name. So you have to practice with by creating how many modules? You have to practice by creating how many modules here? 2 modules. So one is a reusable module and one more is a testing. So testing it by importing into what? Another module. The second syntax is, there is a syntax too. So import module name as what here? Alias name. So generally alias means alternative. Giving alternative name is called what name here? Alias name. So giving alternative name. Giving alternative name is called what here? Alias name. So you are writing like this: import module name as a alias name. Import module name as what here? Alias name. So what is the meaning of this here is? So importing module with alternative name or another name. So why you import module with alternative name or another name? The reason might be different reasons will be there. One is if module name is very lengthy. For example, when you're working with NumPy and Pandas, you'll say import NumPy. Okay, so whenever I want to use a content of NumPy, okay, whenever I want to use a content of NumPy, I have to say what? NumPy dot. I should say NumPy dot array. I should say NumPy dot. Okay, NumPy dot zeros like this. So every time I have to access with what name? Module name. So this module name is very lengthy. So what will I do? I'll just give alias name. So NumPy as what? NP. So it means NumPy, I can refer it. NumPy, I can refer it with what name? NP. Now instead of saying NumPy, I can simply write what? NP dot array. So I'm trying to create, uh, I'm trying to create, I'm trying to create a name space or workspace with what name? NP. So where these functions get loaded in NP. So whenever you want to access it, you access it by using which one? NP. So alternative name. So importing module with alternative name or what? Another name. So that you can call it as alias. Now generally you give the alias names if the module name is very big. Okay. So this alias names are given. Alias names are given if module names are what here lengthy or big. So this is one reason. So the other reason is if there is another module, if there is another module with there is another module with the same name. If there is another module with the same name in two different locations. So even that can be done by using which one? Alias, right? So two reasons are there here. But most of the times you'll try to use it. Alias name if the name of the module is very big, right? Name of the module is very big. Then you go for what name here? Alias name. So what I can do is now there is a module. Again, if you see this, so again there is a module one. So import module one as what is that? MD1. Import module one as what here? MD1. So what is MD1? What is MD1 here? Alias name. What is MD1 here? Alias name. So what will happen? You are trying to access. See, what you are doing is you are trying to access it by saying MD1 dot function 1. You are trying to say MD1 dot function 2. You are trying to write MD1 dot function 3. You are writing MD1 dot function 1, MD1 dot function 2, MD1 dot function 3. So what will happen exactly? Okay, what will happen exactly is now during runtime, what will happen exactly is so during runtime, okay, during runtime, so it will create one namespace. What will happen? It will create one namespace. It will create one namespace. So what is the name of this here? MD1. What is the name of this namespace? MD1. So when you say MD1 dot function 1, now MD1 is an alias of which one? Module 1. Okay, now in module 1, it look for which function? Function 1. And this function 1 get loaded in this memory space whose name is what here? MD1. because a function or a program is never executed without loading in what? Memory. So everything should be loaded in what here? Memory. So anyway, now when you say import module 1 as MD1, these two executable statements are executed, whether you are using it or not. So these two executable statements are executed. So there is a memory allocated for X and there is a memory allocated for what? Y. But where the memory for X and Y is allocated in one namespace. What is the name of that? MD1. If you want to access this X and Y, you are accessing with what name here? MD1. It means, is it this content is loaded as a part? It means the memory for these variables and functions are allocated as a part of current module. Is it memory is allocated as a part of current module? No, it is allocated as a separate namespace. It is creating a separate namespace, and from that you are trying to what? Access it. From that you are trying to access it by using what name? Module name. Okay, there is a memory allocated for module 2. Okay, there is a memory allocated for which one? Module 2. But is it memory for X and Y is allocated as a part of module 2? No, it is allocated in separate memory space whose name is what? MD1. If it is allocated as a part of current module, you don't require to access with what name? Module name. You can access directly. Okay, suppose if I declare one variable X here, if I declare one variable like some Z equal to 300, so the memory for Z is allocated in module 2. Now I can print it directly Z value because this Z is memory is allocated as a part of same memory space or separate, same. But when it comes to this module, memory is allocated what here? Separately. So then to access this, so this is alias, right? So to access this, I need to say MD1 dot X. I'm trying to say MD1 dot Y. So alias name. Alias is nothing but, what do you mean by alias here? Alternative name. You can see inside function 1, inside function 2, inside function 3. What is the value of X here? 100. What is the value of Y here? 200. Okay. X value is 100 and Y value is 200. Okay. Module path you have to set. You have to set the path. Okay. You have to set the path. If you don't set the path, you cannot read it. Okay. You have to set the path. So I'll tell you how to set the path. I'll tell you. Okay. Now, but you cannot access directly. But you cannot access directly. We'll see that how to access the module which is there in some other location. But here both the modules are there in the same location. Module 1 is there in Python 7am and module 2 is also there in Python 7am. Both modules are there in the same location, not in different locations. This both the modules are there in the same location. Okay. Because of that, you can import directly. Suppose one module is there in one location. If one module is there in one location, the other module is there in another location, then you get the error. Okay, because by default it will search in a given path. First it is in current location. If it is not there in current location, it will search in a given path. If it is not available in given path, then it gives what? Error. Okay. But if modules are there in the same location, you don't require to set the path. Yes. So this is import module name. Import module name as what here? Alias name. The next one is syntax 3 is there. So syntax 3, from module name import star. Now this is, it will not create a separate context here. It will not create a separate context. It will create, it will load the content of the module as a part of current context. Okay, it means it will not create a separate namespace. The syntax will not create a separate namespace. Because of that, you can access directly with what name? Identifier names, means function name. You don't require to say module one dot. You don't require to say module one dot. Okay, but here it is creating separate namespace. What is that? Module one. Okay, not this one, alias. Okay, right. So from module name import star. This module, this syntax import the content of current module, or it will import the content of module as a part of which module? Current module, or current namespace, or current context. Current namespace or what? Current context. So the syntax import the content of module as a part of current module, as a part of current module, or current namespace, or current context. Current namespace or current context. So what is the meaning of this here? It is very simple here. Suppose, so what is the difference in this case? So assume that this is again one module which is called module 1.py. So which is having some variables, or which is having functions like function 1, and this is function 1. Okay, assume that there is a function 2. Okay, so there is a function 2. So assume that there is a function 3, and this is a function 3. So how many functions are there here? 3 functions. That is function 1, function 2, and there's one more function called which one? Function 3. So this is module 1.py, right? So how many functions are there here? 3 functions are there, right? So now suppose assume that this is a, okay, assume that this is a module 2. So there is a module 2 here, module 2 dot py. Okay, this is a module 2 dot py. So here what I'm saying is from module 1, from module 1 import star, from module 1 import, what is that? Star. So when I say from module 1 import star, and after that you are directly saying function 1, you are directly saying function 1, you are directly saying function 2, and you are directly saying what here? Function 3. But is it function 1, function 2, function 3 is available in module 2? Is it function 1, function 2, function 3 is available in module 2? No. So this function 1, function 2, function 3 are available in what? Module 1. Are available in what? Module 1. But you are loading as a part of which module? Module 2. But not as a separate namespace. Not as a separate namespace, right? So that is during runtime. Now you are writing function 1. Okay, you are writing function 1. So look for function 1 inside what? Module 1. So because first priority is given to the current module. Is it function 1 is there in a current module? No. Then it look for the function 1 in which module? Import module. So is it function 1 is there in module 1? Yes. Is it function 1 is there in module 1? Yes. Then look for function 2 in the current module. Is it function 2 is there in module 2? No. Then it look for the function 2 in imported module. Is it there? Yes. It look for function 3 in the current module. Is it function 3 is there in current module? No. It look for function 3 in imported module. But during runtime, how it is called? During runtime, how it is called? It is called again with what name? Module name only. Okay, because first priority is given to what? Current module. Very on. So I am not using any module name. I'm just calling as if these functions are there in which module? Module 2. But who's adding this module names? Python. Who's adding this module name? Python. So I am not adding this module name. This module name is added by which one? Python. Because during runtime, you should know where these functions are there. Okay, during runtime, you should know where these functions are there. But where these functions are there in which module? Module 1. So I'm calling it using function 1, function 2, and function 3. So Python compiler adds what here? Module names, so that these functions will be loaded in this. These functions will be loaded from which module? Module 1. Module 1. Okay. Suppose in this case, if you see the syntax 1, import module 1. So in this case, you are just writing here import module 1 dot function 1, module 1 dot function 2. You are saying module 1 dot function 3 because here you import module, but here you import what here? Star. Star means the content of the module. Here you are trying to use the content of the module. Here you are using a module. Here you are using the module. Here you are using the content of the module. Content of the module. Content of the module means function 1, function 2, function 3. See here, function 1, function 2, function 3. Then who will add the module name? Python. But here we import module. We import which one? Module. From this module, what you want to access? Now you have to give which name here? Module name. But here you are using the content of the module directly. Then who's adding the module name? Python. But here we import the module. Who will add the module name? Programmer. That is where you find the difference between this import module, and from module name import what? Star. But in this case, you may find sometimes ambiguity. Ambiguity means some name conflicts. You find some ambiguity that you can call it as name conflicts. Okay. So you find some name conflicts because now just see with the example here. So again, if you see this module one, so again, module one is there, and we'll see one application. One module one is there, and there is one more module, which is module four. From module one import star. From module one import star, I print X, I print Y. Okay, I call function one, I call function two, I call function three. Okay, this is not preferable. Suppose if you have a multiple modules with the same functions. So module one is having same functions and module two is also having same functions. What will happen? There will be a conflict. Ah, hmm, okay. Okay, so there will be a conflicts, right? Suppose if I am importing another module, the other module is also having same functions. Okay, or there is another function. Okay, there is another function called function one in this module with the same name. Okay, this is function one of current module. So if I'm saying function one in this case, if I'm saying function one in this case, first priority is given to current module. First priority is given to current module. Is it function one is there in current module? Yes, it will call this function one. But will it call the function one of module one? No. Getting on. So it is always preferable to call with what name? Module name. It is always preferable to call with what name? Module name. Module name, right? Yes. So in this case, there will be a conflict. If you want, you can see that this is a module 4. This is a module 4. And if you run this, now you can see 100 to 200 function 1 of current module, function 2 and function 3. But this function 2 and function 3, this function 2 and function 3 are belongs to what? Function 2, function 3 belongs to what? Module 1. So it will take this as, module 1 dot, it will take this as module 1 dot x, it will take this as module 1 dot y, it will take this as function 1, but it will take this as module, it will take this as module 1 dot function 1, it will take this as again module 1 dot, what is that, function 2, function 2, because the function 1 of module 1 is hidden. It is, you can say it is hidden by the function 1 of which module, module 4. Getting on. So can I access this function 1 now? No, I cannot access it. I cannot access this function 1. If you want to access this function 1, I should not use this syntax. I should not use this syntax. I have to use what? Syntax 1. I have to use a syntax 1 where I have to say module 1 dot x, module 1 dot y, module 1 dot function 1, module 1 dot function 2, module 1 dot what? Function 3. But if I want to access this function 1 with the same syntax, then you can go for alias. So already there is a function 1 in this module, but I want to import this function 1 from module 1 with another name, so that that can avoids which one, ambiguity. So that can be avoids which one here, ambiguity, right? So that will avoid the ambiguity if you are trying to give what is that, alias name. If you give the alias name, so that will avoid the ambiguity between the names. Like name conflict, name conflict can be avoided. Name conflict can be what here, avoided, right? Name conflict will not be there. Name conflict will not be there, right? So then you can go for another syntax. Now there is a syntax 4 is there and syntax 5 is there. Now if you see the syntax 4, now this allows you to import the entire module, but you don't want to import all the content. Should not allow to access the entire content in the current module. So that is one way of restricting it. For example, if you see this one only, so this is a module 1, and assume that this is another module. Okay, this is a module 1, and assume that this is another module. Okay, this is another module here. This is another module. So where I'm saying from module 1, import function 2 comma function 3. So it means I'm trying to import only how many identifiers from this module? Only 2. Okay, that you're telling that, okay, I want to use only 2 functions. Okay, I can able to access only 2 functions. So that can avoid. Suppose if I write here function 1, okay, this is current module. Okay, this is which module here? Current module. So there is no chance of which one? Ambiguity. Because are you import function 1 of module 1 here? No. Or import function 1 of module 1 here? No. It means this function 1 is belongs to which one? Current module. This function 1 is belongs to which one? Current module. Suppose you import function 2. If I'm saying function 2, then what will happen? What will happen? You import function 2 of module 1, that is hidden by which one? Function 2 of which module? Current module. Okay, current module. So if you want to import only a specific identifiers, so that is in your program, you are not using other identifiers of that particular module. You are not using other content of that particular module. You are trying to use only specific content. Specific content. You are trying to use what your specific content. Now what I can say? Function 1, I can say function 2, I can say function 3. But if I'm writing print x, will it give error or not? Yes. Because are you importing x from module 1? No. Are you importing y from module 1? No. Now that is restricting it. That is what you are restricting. If you want to restrict, right, you can restrict that by saying from module name and import identifiers. This is current module and inside function 2 and inside function 3. But anyway, to overcome this ambiguity, you'll try to use the syntax 5. Now this is importing specific identifiers. Instead of importing the entire module, instead of importing the entire module, you are trying to import the specific content of the module by using this particular syntax. So this is a syntax for from module name import identifier 1, identifier 2, identifier 3, like that. So what are these identifiers here? So identifiers are what? Variable names. Variable names are what is that? Function names. So this syntax allows to import only specific identifiers from module. The syntax allows to import specific identifiers from module, restricting. Suppose by mistaken, if you are trying to do some changes, if you are trying to do some changes, that changes might reflect to what module. Suppose when you work with like monkey patching is there. Now by mistaken you try to update it, then that may reflect what module. So because of that, you don't want to access the other parts of your module. You want to access only specific content of the module. Now that you can restrict it by using from module name and selected identifiers. Yeah, this function 1 is a function 1 of current module, but function 2 is a module function 1, module 1, and function 3 belongs to what again? Module 1. Yes. Yeah, it will not update in function module 1, function 2, but it will hide it. Hiding it is. Okay. Okay. So if you want to access with the alias name, if you want to access, so there is a name conflict, right? If there is a name conflict, so if there is a name conflict, right? So there is a module 1. So I'm importing module 1. I'm importing module 1 in another module. So module 6.py. So here I'm saying from module 1 import, from module 1 import function 1 as F1. From module 1 import function 1 as what? F1. So I've given alias name because already there is a function 1 in which module? Current module. So there is already function 1 in the which module? Current module. So I try to import the function 1 of module 1 with what name? F1. So here I'm writing F1, and then I write here function 1. When I say F1, okay, it will take this as what here? Module 1 dot, module 1 dot, what is that? F1. But module 1 dot F1, but actually F1 is what here? Alias. Now this F1 is alias of which one? Function 1. So it means whenever I say F1, it is referring to which one? Function 1. So will it take this as module 1 dot F1 or function 1? Function 1. Okay, you are writing F1, but your Python takes this as what name? Function name. But why? Because the function should be called with what name? Function name only, right? It is an alias name. It is given alias name only to to overcome which one? Conflict, name conflict. So there is already a function 1 in the current module, but even I want to access the function 1 of which module? Even though I want to access the function 1 of which module? Module 1. But I try to access the function 1 of module 1 with what name here? F1. It is nothing but F1 equal to function 1. It is nothing but F1 equal to what? Function 1. Now, whenever I'm saying F1, it is calling which function? Function 1. Okay, whenever I'm saying F1, it's calling which one? Function 1 of which module? Module 1. So F1 equal to function 1, or if in detail means I can write like this. F1 equal to module 1 dot, what is that? Function 1. So whenever I'm writing F1, it is referring to a function 1 of which module? Module 1. So that I can call the function 1 of current module. I can call the function 1 of module 1. I can call the function 1 of current module. I can call the function 1 of which module? Module 1. So that is alias name. Okay, that is called as which one here? Alias name. Alias. It's nothing but accessing it with alternative name. So that is syntax 5. So from module name import identifier as alias name. Identifier as what here? Alias name. So this syntax import variables or functions with what? Alternative name. So this is to avoid name duplications. This is to avoid name duplications, right? So for that, you are trying to use this particular syntax. So this is to avoid name duplications. For that, you are using this particular syntax. So this is a module 1. So from module 1, I'm writing function 1 from module 1 function 1 as F1. So here you have function 1 in the current module. I call function 1, I call F1. So F1 is also function 1, but it is a function 1 of which module? Module 1. It is a function 1 of which module? Module 1. You can see current module, and this is inside function 1. Current module and inside function 1. Right. So if the modules are available in different locations, then how you access one module? There are different modules in different locations. There is a different modules in different locations, not in the same location. Location means not in the same folder where my current executable program is there. But these modules are there in different locations. If the modules are there in different locations, then how can I access those modules? How can I access those modules? Yeah, you can write F1, F2 also. You can write as F1 and F2 also. Yes. Yes, you can write as F1 and F2 also if you want to access it. So how to set the module path? How to set the module path, right? So this module path is required if modules are exist in different locations. That is accessing modules exist in what here? Different locations. Accessing modules exist in different locations required which one? Module path. Required module path. So how default accessing of module, how it will search for the modules. Okay, where it will search for the modules. So that we'll discuss tomorrow, right? So we'll see module path, and even I'll tell you packages, how to work with the packages. So we'll try to see that. I mean, in PyCharm we'll see. Okay, so tomorrow I'll tell you how to install the PyCharm. Okay, and then we will see how to create package and how to create modules within the package and how to import modules from the package, right? But tomorrow we'll see. Today we'll just stop it here today, right? Thank you. बोलो यार।